The United States men's national soccer team represents the United States in men's international soccer competitions. The team is controlled by the United States Soccer Federation and is a member of FIFA and CONCACAF. The team has appeared in 10 FIFA World Cups, including the first in 1930, where they reached the semi-finals. The US participated in the 1934 and 1950 World Cups, winning 1-0 against England in the latter. After 1950, the US did not qualify for the World Cup until 1990. The US hosted the 1994 World Cup, where they lost to Brazil in the round of 16. They qualified for 5 more consecutive World Cups after 1994, becoming one of the tournament's regular competitors and often advancing to the knockout stage. The US reached the quarterfinals of the 2002 World Cup, where they lost to Germany. In the 2009 Confederations Cup, they eliminated top-ranked Spain in the semi-finals before losing to Brazil in the final. Their only appearance in the final of a major intercontinental tournament. United States will co-host the 2026 FIFA World Cup along with Canada and Mexico. The US also competes in continental tournaments, including the CONCACAF Gold Cup and Copa America. The US won 6 Gold Cups and the inaugural edition of the CONCACAF Nations League, and has achieved a 4th place finish in 2 Copa Americas, including the 2016 edition. The team's head coach is Greg Berhalter. Since November 29, 2018, Ernie Stewart is the team's general manager since August 1, 2018. The first U.S. national soccer team was constituted in 1885, when it played Canada in the first international match held outside the United Kingdom. Canada defeated the US 1-0 in Newark, New Jersey. The US had its revenge the following year when it beat Canada 1-0. Also in Newark, although neither match was officially recognized. The US earned both silver and bronze medals in men's soccer at the 1904 St. Louis Summer Olympics through Christian Brothers College and St. Rose Parish, though the tournament is declared official only by the IOC. The US played its first official international match under the auspices of US Soccer on August 20, 1916, against Sweden in Stockholm, where the US won 3-2. The US fielded a team in the 1930 World Cup in Uruguay, the first ever World Cup to be played. The US began group play by beating Belgium 3-0. The US then earned a 3-0 victory over Paraguay, with FIFA crediting Bert Patenaude with 2 of the goals. In November 2006, FIFA announced that it had accepted evidence that Patenaude scored all 3 goals against Paraguay, and was thus the first person to score a hat-trick in a World Cup. In the semi-finals, the US lost to Argentina 6-1. There was no third-place game. However, using the overall tournament records in 1986, FIFA credited the US with a third-place finish ahead of fellow semi-finalist Yugoslavia. This remains the US team's best World Cup result, and is the highest finish of any team from outside of South America and Europe. The US qualified for the 1934 World Cup by defeating Mexico 4-2 in Italy a few days before the final started. In a straight knockout format, the team first played host Italy and lost 7-1. Eliminating the US from the tournament. At the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin, the US again lost to Italy in the first round and were eliminated, although this time with a score of 1-0. The 1950 World Cup in Brazil was the next World Cup appearance for the US as it withdrew in 1938, and the tournament wasn't held again until 1950. The US lost its first match 3-1 against Spain, but then won 1-0 against England at Independencia Stadium in Belo Horizonte. Striker Joe Gatjens was the goal scorer, called the Miracle on Grass. The result is considered one of the greatest upsets in the history of the World Cup. Months before the World Cup, England had beaten an all-star rest of Europe side 6-1 in an exhibition match. In their third game of the tournament, a 5-2 defeat by Chile saw the US eliminated from the tournament. It would be 4 decades before the US would make another appearance in the World Cup finals. The national team spent the mid to late 20th century in near complete irrelevance in both the international game and the domestic sporting scene. There was only one World Cup berth for CONCACAF during this period until 1982. The emergence of the North American Soccer League in the 1960s and 1970s raised hopes that the U.S. national team would soon improve and become a global force. However, such hopes were not realized, and by the 1980s the U.S. Soccer Federation found itself in serious financial struggles, with the national team playing only 2 matches from 1981 to 1983. U.S. Soccer targeted the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles and the 1986 World Cup as means of rebuilding the national team and its fan base. The International Olympic Committee declared that teams from outside Europe and South America could field full senior team